Okay, the dream last night, there were three vignettes or three facets of the dreaming last night. Um, my dreams are a lot more extensive than Jason Bourne's were apparently, and he had a hard time figuring out who he was, but I think we're on the right track of figuring out who I am. Anyway, the first dream last night, there was this little town, and it was kind of a backwater, I felt like, and an Asian woman, kind of with square face and short cropped hair and wearing a suit. It was feminine enough, but it wasn't particularly feminine. Came into town, and she started a club and had everybody chip in $7.88 dues to be in this club. And she used the money to get a high-speed internet line feed into the club. And then the club took off. They could do all kinds of things in the club, and it was just they just became so up to date, and there was an impression that they were doing all kinds of things, although nothing specific. And then the town leaders wanted to get her involved in the town then, and I guess there was some jealousy or something, but that was about that. That morphed into another dream about this guy, and he was a guy with close cropped hair, and I was kind of aware of him, and I was kind of following him in the dream, and then somebody was talking to me about him as I was following him in the dream, and I noticed his shoes. He had like burgundy colored shoes on that were kind of fashionable, and the the person that was filling me in about him said, "See those shoes? He gets these Arrow shoes for like $20," and that was stupendous. They were very fashionable, and they were only $20. And he did other things. Uh, he knew just what to get, and he saw the trends before they happened. And the idea was that if you followed this guy, you could make a lot of money. That he had inside knowledge about things, or he had insights, or he could see things happening before they happened. And then there was another guy that came into the dream who there was a kind of an awareness that, well, maybe things didn't get so good because that guy bought those shoes, that maybe there were other reasons why the economy took off. It wasn't just because you were smart about what shoes to buy, or, two things happen sequentially. It doesn't mean there's cause and effect. Those are the memories of that part of the dream. I mean, there was probably more to it that I forgot, but those are the memories of that part of the dream. The next part of the dream sequence was a 3 or 4 story building, and the idea was to get to know the people in the building who were smart, who could be elevated somehow, and the idea is that they were somehow like mentally handicapped, that there were psychiatric disorders involved in different degrees depending on how up you went in the building, what floor you were on. And there was a sense of checking out the people on the 3rd floor, and they seemed okay, but they didn't seem particularly interesting. And then the 4th floor, they were a little more trouble. And the 5th floor, that they were just people to stay away from. There wasn't much to do about them. It's not clear who was doing this evaluation. I have an awareness in the dream, but I don't act in the dream. It's not like I'm a person in the dream, so it's kind of strange. Then the 4th vignette that I remember is that, again, we're in some kind of town or city, and there's a guy who's very sharp and he knows just what to do, and he can make things happen. And he's concerned about having to pay protection. He has a business or some kind of venture, and he doesn't want to have to pay protection. And then the dream is all about, well, what if the guys that come around and want protection, do you bump them off? And if you bump them off, do the guys above them get pissed and come after you, or you have to bump them off too? And then it's all involved concern about, protection and payoffs and mafia and who's going to get who, and it just kind of, then it kind of just evaporates like a cloud. That dream just kind of evaporates. So it was kind of a busy night, although there wasn't a feeling that all that took very long. It kind of spanned a good part of the night, but it didn't seem like it took that long. So that's the dream sequence for last night.